So, Paul, the region is announcing today that you'll be departing as leaving as Chief Executive of the Scarlets. Obviously, a packed-in year, the year since you joined. Can you give us a little bit of background for the reasons for the departure and this particular time as well?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's been a full-on year. I've got to say that. And look, I think we have to go back before I even joined. Yeah, we've got to go back to probably about 12 months or a little longer than that, when I first had a call from the Scarlets in terms of what they were looking for, and was I in a position to come and help. And after various discussions and talking through where the Scarlets were at as a business, where I was at with my career, we got to a position where we said yes. It had to be for a defined period of time, but it appealed to me for various reasons in terms of career progression and experience, and some experiences which I didn't have, which I wanted to learn. I think also from the Scarlets in terms of where the business was at, and you know, it's no hidden secret where the Scarlets were 12 months ago was not a particularly good place, and the Scarlets and ultimately myself had to set about change, and that's what we've done. Fast forward to where we are now, and you know, because we operate in a very public arena, you'd like to see, and I think people have seen, what changes taken place in that period of time.
And what were the main sort of parts of the main focus for you during the past season? Really, what were the areas that you were, when you discussed it with the board when you came here, that you set out to look at and help stabilise and take forward?
Yeah, I think first and foremost is our supporters. You know, in terms of we disengaged for whatever the reasons were. You know, it wasn't about looking back; it's about looking forward. So we were disengaged, so we had to re-engage. And how were we going to do that? And we had to do it quickly. I suppose that was part of my makeup in terms of what the board were looking for, in terms of being able to get that active quickly. So engagement with supporters and building the trust and relationship with our supporters, our sponsors, a whole range of stakeholders was incredibly important. So I think that was really top of the priority list. And we set about that very, very quickly. In addition to that, in terms of running the business, in terms of we had the right structures in place, so being able to mould the management team together. We've got a very strong management team. When you look at my 5 reports, I haven't done all this in the last 12 months. They have. You know, I've just happened to be the guy that's been working with them to pull them together. But when you look at the likes of Gareth and Nigel, Rupert, Hugh, and John Daniels, they're a very strong and very passionate and committed management team. But we need to bring that together. So we also then had to look at our operations in terms of service. So, and you've seen service. You know, people make many comments now about where we've changed, how we've changed. It's a welcoming place now.
And obviously packed a lot into a year. Are there any particular things that you look back on now of the past season that are highlights really for you in terms of achieving those objectives? You talked a lot about structuring the business. Are there any particular points in the last season where you'd say, right, well, I've actually come here and done what I needed to do?
Yeah, I think there are plenty of those, and again, because we are in that public arena, people have been able to see them and witness them firsthand, and witness those improvements and those changes. Not that we're perfect, and we recognise it's still a work in progress. Porters are our business. You know, it's their club, it's their region, it's their team. And we have to run it to make sure that we're keeping those supporters happy. And
you say about pointing the business in the right direction. So what is your view of where the Scarlets are now, and what can people look forward to next season, and how the business is going to progress going forward?
I think most importantly, we have 3 very, very committed funding directors. Incredibly committed. They want the Scarlets to succeed on and off the field. What we've had to do first of all is make sure that we've got those structures and processes in place to be able to manage the business. Like every other business, you've got to look after the revenue. You've got to manage your costs. So that's all still work in progress. And I think because we've got that commitment and that drive and that passion, from those guys. It gives us the foundation on which we can and confidence on which the business can go forward. Couple that with a strong management team and a very passionate support and desire from all parties to move forward collectively, then I think that the future looks very, very bright.
And a non-rugby man coming into this role, what are your reflections on what makes this region unique, really?
I think it became apparent very early in the piece that I dealt with the Manchester Uniteds, the Barcelonas of this world, the England football team, Wales Rugby, you name it. But the passion of our support, whilst we might not be the same in number, we make up for that in terms of passion and openness. I think in terms of dealing with and talking to people. I think that rapport and friendship that's kind of has been established through thick and thin. Fantastic day at Reading. I'm very disappointed in Toulon. That's sport, isn't it? You go through those emotions. As a non-rugby person, what you try to do is manage those emotions, because you've still got to focus on running the business. You can't have your head in the clouds. You really have got to keep your feet on the floor.
So, Paul, a word on your successor. The region's also announced today who the new CEO of the Scarlets is going to be. Welshman Mark Davis, background 20 years with Honda, heading up the businesses in the UK and now most recently in Europe. So, a proven business leader. A few words about what this sort of role needs as a CEO and what he could bring into next season.
Yeah. With Mark, and I've had the pleasure and I've been fortunate to spend the last 2 days with him in terms of briefing him department by department, line by line, as to where the business is. He's his own man. He'll determine how he'll want to move things forward and progress. But I think people need to rest assured that Mark is a top class operator. You would be in a place and in a role that is held. A very personable guy, and very, very keen to make sure he I suppose picks up the baton and interlinks with supporters, etc. Going forward. We've gone through that process in the last 2 days in terms of briefing, and I think it's a very shrewd and very wise move on behalf of the board to bring in another non-rugby person. Some of our supporters would think fantastic as a motorbiker, and I can think of Speedy and one or two others that will be looking forward to that. But he's also a business person that can focus on the issues, understand what the issues are, to move us into the next phase. I've spoken about that we're at the start line. This is the beginning of the journey. It's not the end. And I think Mark certainly has, competencies that are an improvement on mine. Paul Sargent is not the be-all and end-all. I have to say that. And Mark has competencies that will help move the business forward, that we all know to get it to where it can get to. And I think it's going to be in a really, really safe pair of hands.
And just last few words really on next season. Will we be seeing you on the terraces in your lovely array of jumpers?
Yeah, I'm disappointed not to wear one today. Yes, you will. Yeah, yes, you will. And one thing that I'm going to go away with from here is that I'm Scarlet through and through wherever I am. And whether you see me here at the Scarlets, it'd be nice to be the other side and having a couple of pints with the guys in the supporters village, and maybe not getting my ear chewed, but also in away grounds. You never know where I'll pop up, because I've thoroughly enjoyed the experience. I've thoroughly enjoyed the camaraderie and friendship that's been extended to me as an outsider in many respects over the 10 months or so. And I aren't going to walk away from that without any shadow of doubt, because I really enjoy it, and I enjoy what I enjoy.
Well, I'm sure I'm joined by many, Paul, in saying thank you very much for what you have done, and we wish you all the very best, and look forward to hearing where you're going next as well.
It's very kind, and I think to everyone, long live the Scarlets, and stick with them, because we're going places.